What am I feeling right now? The question I asked in the last video. What am you, feeling right now? Did you answer the question? Well, if you didn't, there's still time to answer it. And if you haven't seen the first video, Your Heart Knows the Truth, there's still time to see that also. But let's get back to that most important question. What am I feeling right now? Runs the gamut of emotions. You may be feeling happy, you may be feeling sad, you may be feeling angry, you may be feeling jealous. Any of those or all of those. And that's okay. Because the first step in heart-led transformation is about engaging the heart, processing, recognizing our emotions. As women, we're often told that we're too emotional. We're told to be a leader, you can't be emotional. You have to be logical. You have to use your brain. You can't use your head. You have to use your brain. You can't use your heart. I'm sorry, but nothing is further from the truth. Being heart-led means being guided by your heart. And it starts with emotions. That's why that question, what am I feeling right now, is so important. Because if you don't know what you're feeling right now, you're not connected to yourself. And it's not your fault. We're told to suppress our emotions. We're told that nobody wants us emotional. And I'm talking to women right now. And any woman in any leadership role could probably tell you that you do your best to hide your emotions. I'm not saying wear your heart on your sleeve. What I'm saying is recognize, process your emotions. They're very important because if you don't, these emotions get pushed down, suppressed. And when they do, over a period of time, they cause physical problems, such as one such thing would be heart disease. And you may say, well, how could that happen? It's just emotions. What do you mean they get pushed down? Well, cells have memory, and that's been scientifically proven. And you're welcome to look it up on the internet. Your cells hold your emotions. And what happens is when you repress those emotions, they stay in the cells. And it kind of acts like a PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, where we have these emotions that at the time we can't process, like with PTSD, they get pushed down, they go into our subconscious. So it's kind of the same mechanism that when you're constantly suppressing your emotions, pushing them down, they're staying in your cells have memory, and then little by little they get triggered. And if they're not processed over a period of time, and I'm talking about even years, they turn into a physical illness because those emotions have to get out and they have no place else to go. I hope that's making sense to people. So when you process, when you take in and process your emotions, and this could only happen through the heart, because the heart is the seat of our emotions. So to do this every day, you sit quietly, undisturbed, close your eyes, spend a few minutes with yourself. You could start by focusing on your breathing in through your nose to the count of 8, breathing out through your mouth to the count of 8. And ask yourself, placing your hand on your heart, what am I feeling right now? Going further with our emotions, we talked about processing emotions and about the cells, how they hold those emotions, and eventually, if not dealt with, they will turn into a physical illness. And there's something else with emotions, and that's called emotional intelligence. And I think this is so important, again, for women, because often we see emotional intelligence as our ability to read the room. And again, I'm not dismissing that. It is important to know who's in the room, who you're dealing with. But too often, we see emotional intelligence as a task, as a function of our brain, to read the room, to be able to decide and decipher what's going on, and then in turn, acting in a way that is suitable from the information that our brain took in. Again, that's logic. But emotional intelligence, when you go deeper with it, what emotional intelligence is actually about connection. It's not about doing, it's about being. So when we use our emotional intelligence, not to scan the room, not to think logically, but use our emotional intelligence like we use our intuition, that inner knowing, that inner guide that we all have, then there's no stress. When you use emotional intelligence as a tool to act a certain way with other people, such as reading the room, reading the people that you're being with, that's a task, and that's something that the brain processes. When you're using your emotional intelligence for that inner knowing, you're using it as a connection. You're using it as a way to be with other people, to be compassionate, to have gratitude, to be empathetic, and to make a connection to other people. So there's two sides to that emotional intelligence. You may be more familiar with the first that we talked about, using the brain for logic, but what I'd like you to work on is using that emotional intelligence as a connection, as that heart-led and heartfelt connection. And again, as heart-led women, you are accessing and awakening your emotions. You're awakening your inner wisdom. And when you do that, you fully heal, you become complete. And whatever life transition or life challenge you're going through, you are able to be the person you were created, born to be, the very best person that you could be. So I'll ask you again, what am I feeling right now? Thank you for joining me. For those who don't know me, I am Teresa Palmer, a holistic cardiology nurse practitioner, and for over 30 years, I've been helping women lead with their heart, awaken their inner wisdom, and have lasting transformation. Thank you.